guys, it's Uzette. We are here today at a very, very special event. It's a reception for something that you guys are going to hear all about. This is BAMmagazine.com. So many rock stars have sat where I am sitting right now, have been in this room, not just performing, but partying and making music. So it's really exciting for all of us to be here today. This facility was called, back in the day, it was called the Record Plant here in Sausalito, California. It has now changed hands and it is called the Record Factory. And they have just really done things up here, and we have so many people that are here today celebrating. So you'll see some interviews coming up in just a moment. If you've never heard of the Record Plant, let me just fill you in on a couple people, just a couple that have been here. I'm talking Greg Allman, Jefferson Airplanes, Fleetwood Mac, Rumors was recorded here. We have Pablo Cruz, Carlos Santana, Metallica, Joe Satriani. The list goes on and on. So that's why we're real excited to be here today, to be in this facility. So they have a lot of things planned here at the Record Factory. Some mentorship. They're actually going to be doing classes for people, recording spaces. A lot is going on here. So stick with us and we'll fill you in on some more stuff. Thanks for being here.
I sat out the Starship part without the Jefferson. That wasn't me, but that's good. No, I was Jefferson Starship, then it was Starship, then it went back to Jefferson Starship. I meant all the Jefferson Starship parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give us some memories you have of being here at this particular studio in Sausalito, California.
Yeah, this is when we had the big change in the band. When Grace Slick and Marty Ballin left the band, and our drummer left the band, and we had Ainsley Dunbar playing drums, and Mickey Thomas took both Grace and Marty's place, which was kind of interesting because he could actually sing both their parts because he has an amazing range, amazing singer. So we had a lot of fun, and I had written a song along with Craig Chiquiso and Paul Kantner and my friend Jim McPherson called Jane, and that seem to be, actually we used that song to try out new singers. And as soon as Mickey opened his mouth and sang the first line, they looked at each other and go, oh, okay, that's the guy. So it was perfect. And so we had that, and not having Grace there, it's a whole new feeling. And so, but that's what's just that album, and it worked okay. And the next album, before we were through with it, which was Modern Times, I think it was Modern Times, then Grace came back right in the middle of it. So she kind of sang some harmonies and things, but she didn't really have one big solo song. And I don't know, that's what's going on, but lots of things happened here.
Was it an open arm feeling to bring Grace back into the mix?
It was for me. I think it probably was for everybody, actually. Because who would, she was gone. I think she was gone mostly to stop drinking. Because she would lose it every now and then.
What kind of fun times did you have here at the studio as far as drinking and ladies and anything else that
must have been going on, but I don't know. I kind of paid attention to music when I was here, and when music and ping pong. Definitely.
And are you still friends with everyone?
I try to be. Definitely try to be.
Mm-hmm. And after, where did the music go for you, and what have you been doing most recently?
Recently? Well, in 2005, I rejoined Jefferson Starship, which Paul had restarted, and I've been doing that ever since, and still am, actually, because when that stopped, when Paul passed away, his family asked us, his kids asked us, "You want to keep going? Because we miss this stuff." And we had just the people who were in the band, who are still the people that are in the band now, had gelled, and we fell in love with each other. I mean, and we still are. And so we just having a real good time. And Grace, who was the only person left with authorization she gave us a contract, said, "You sure, go ahead and do it." And so here we still are.
Where can people find out more information about what you're doing, where you're going to be playing?
At jeffersonstarship.com or our Facebook page, Jefferson Starship Facebook page.
What's up, guys? Excellent.
Hi.
Well, have a seat. We're just getting started.
I had so much fun in the studio.
Oh, I bet.
Scary.
The Bay Area is such a special scene for music for so many years. Why do you think it's so special?
I grew up in Palo Alto. A lot of people came out of Palo Alto. Everybody playing and everybody getting to be friends and kind of hanging out, and it was like this group of bands:
Right.
Night Ranger, Journey, Huey, Jefferson Starship. Just a lot of bands that would, if you didn't see each other on the road, you'd always see each other at home, because we'd love to hang out.
And before that, when it started, I mean, there's the Grateful Dead, the Quicksilver,
Yeah.
Jefferson Airplane, and Big Brother and Holding Company,
So it is,
and a
there's
bunch of other ones, and everybody would go to each other's shows when they
Yeah.
weren't playing, you know. And
It was a good time.
A lot of support.
yeah,
Is
yeah,
what was going down.
Yeah.
no, everybody was rooting for everybody else. That was really kind of nice, like it ought to be.
Yes, I
Yeah.
agree. Donnie, do you have a particular special memory about this studio?
God, I have more than one, but just being close to home. I was living in San Rafael, and it just was. Everybody was here. I mean, it was a great place to record, a great place to get motivated, a great place to have a drink and hang out. It just seemed to all work coming to the record plant, and you didn't know who was going to be here, and once you got here, oh, you guys are here, and we're in A, you're in B.
Want to play some ping pong?
You guys see yourself coming here to now the Record Factory and recording.
I can't believe that it's actually coming back, and even though it's a different time zone, this place just has a vibe to it, and I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully getting in here and doing some work and writing some songs and bringing some of that goodness back to it. It's really exciting.
Thanks for being here today, you guys. I really appreciate
It's
it.
a pleasure. Thanks, Musette.
You're welcome.
Ta-da.
So, this interrogation is regarding the break-in last Thursday.
Where were you?
All the money, the drugs, and
The
the
Watergate
exotic
Hotel?
pets, the record
Stolen,
plant.
yes.
What was it like for you to be here, to record here, and spend time here with so many iconic other folks like yourself?
It was intimidating, to be honest. When I was first coming here, I was quite young. And our band was very brand new, a band called Night Ranger. And we had just put ourselves together right down the street from here. We had a band house in Mill Valley. And I don't remember exactly what we recorded here, which tracks were done here. But I do remember whenever we were here, it was almost like being in church for us, because of our reverence for this place, the history of it. And we would see our friends here. We would see, Carlos Santana would be in here. We'd run into the Fleetwood folks and our buddies in Journey. Huey was always here. It was just a great time. And there was one of the things I remember that always sticks in my head is there was a Xenon game. And it was a pinball machine that was down there back behind the kitchen area. And it was so incestuous that it got us all becoming part of it. And the lady in there would go, try a tube shot. You're trying to do this thing. And you're supposed to be in the studio playing guitar, and you'd hear one of you guys out there, and you hear this sweet voice going, try a tube shot. And it was just this pinball machine we all got sucked into. So that's one of my finer memories of that.
Do you think that you're going to come back and record anything here
And
as the Record Factory?
if invited to come back in these rooms, absolutely. Oh yeah. I mean, who wouldn't come back to this place?
They're doing a lot of mentorship type programs and inviting guests, so hopefully you can come
Are
back.
they really?
Yeah, and
Okay.
they have a whole program set up for it, so maybe you can come back and help the younger folks and
I'd
and
love
just
to
give
do
your
that.
knowledge.
I would love to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, who do I talk to?
I'll set you up.
You said, yeah.
BAMmagazine.com, as I said, we're always trying to help younger folks
Sure.
as well. So we definitely want to get on board with that. We just met a couple of folks out there that are the younger generation that are going to be recording and doing some stuff here. So it would be great to have you come back
That'd be
and
fantastic.
mentor.
We've always had a nice, long relationship with BAM. From Dennis down all over the years, doing
Yay.
the BAMmies and
Yes.
doing shows for them. And
Mm-hmm.
it's been very, everybody shaking each other's hands throughout
Mm-hmm.
the Bay Area for all those decades. We were a newer band, and that was beginning of the 1980s. But there's some well-established people that were already in here working with BAM when we came in. You got, of course, Fleetwood Mac and Journey, and didn't Foreigner work in here at one point? I mean, there's so many stories of this room
Right.
hosting all these ghosts of greatness. That's why we walked around like this, going like, we're not worthy.
But you are. Night Ranger, what are you guys up to these days?
I left the touring bands about a decade or so, a little over a decade ago. I stopped touring.
Uh-huh.
It was just time for me to settle back down, and we live in Mill Valley here. So I have a couple of other projects and bands I do and produce, and also do film and TV work. So
Nice.
just decided it was time to stop off the touring.
If people want to find out anything about you, or they perhaps need you in some particular way, where can they find you?
Most people find me through Facebook. It's just my name. I'm pretty free about showing the videos of us with our deer and our foxes and our raccoons. We live in the National Forest or on the edge of it here. So
Nice.
yeah, that's the best place because my publicist is on the East Coast, and it's just more convenient to find me there.
Yeah.
And if I see something that looks interesting or inviting, or if I can help in some way, I'll respond. I always do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff Watson, thank you for being here tonight.
Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely.
This is a walk down memory lane for me. It's a really pleasant one. So it helped build my life.
Yes.
So thank you to this building and the people that are putting it back together for us. Can't wait to see it.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. At the Record Factory, Sausalito, Joel Selvin. You are a critic. You are an author. You've done so many things in the music business. What's it like to be here at the Record Factory?
Well, it's not my first rodeo at the Record Factory. The Record Factory just brings to mind the chain store that sold retail records back in the 70s, Sterling Lanier and all those cats. I mean, this is the record plant. I don't know what, maybe they owe Chris Stone's estate some money or something if they're going to call it the plant, or I don't know. But the Record Factory.
Hey!
Did you want me to candy coat this? I forgot. I'm sorry.
We want you to say whatever you want to say, whatever your heart desires. What kind of memories do you have here formerly?
Vague, foggy, sort of, kind of like a dream I had a long time ago. But this was a community center. It was a place where stuff was going on when stuff was going on. I remember when the Feds took it over, they shut down 3 big-time album projects right at the thing. It was Huey Lewis, Journey, and John Fogerty were all in the studio when the Feds took it over.
Why?
Oh, it was part of confiscation for drug earnings. The guy that had bought the place went down on a Fed drug bust, and the Fed swooped in and took over ownership. They just closed it down, and oh man, Journey's manager went nuts. I mean, they just locked the door, and his master tape with all the overdubs was sitting, where he couldn't get to it. It was a multi-million-dollar project, and the Fogerty thing was center field. It was going to be a big hit record, and Huey Lewis's Power of Love or something like that. So I mean, they just closed the doors, locked it, and everybody went nuts, and they figured out pretty quickly that they needed to open it and operate it. So I forget who they brought in, Claire. I'm sorry, sweet smart gal. and she was sort of like a neutral Switzerland kind of party. And she came in and managed the place for the federal government, who operated it while they had it under confiscation before they could sell it. And of course, then everybody called it Club Fed.
Give me another story.
And then there was the cripple that won the lawsuit and bought the studio. That was short-lived. She died within a year of them buying it. But she had this misfortune rained money on her, and she decided she wanted to get into the record business. The opening. Those guys were scoundrels. What was Stone's partner's name? Those guys were scoundrels. So here's the deal, right? They would sell you cocaine and charge it to your label as studio time. Sly Stone lived here. He had a hot tub and an AstroTurf floor and God knows what they paid for in terms of hours of recording. The manager that took over, I remember talking to him about it. He'd kind of figured it out because they were billing him for sessions that took place while the band was on the road. So he got down to the bottom of it pretty quick. But Sly always had to figure out a way to get his blow. There's never someone who's going to stand in the way of that.
Oh my gosh.
And I think there was a big deal opening party here, or it was a Halloween event, and I think Lennon showed up. And so, this thing was a hit from the moment the doors opened. Of course, the record plant in L.A. was already on the scene, and that was the real leading studio at the time. And there were all these hippie wood butchers putting this thing together, and the rock wall, which I can't believe they took out. It just was the epitome of 70s rock decadence, and any given day, this guy'd be going out and this guy'd be going out, and the Starship would be here with this producer, and Hart would be here with that producer, and everybody'd be in the pinball machine room together. And I remember Sammy Hagar, who was like, what was Sammy? Was 2 albums into his career, he was a nobody with used to belong to Montrose, and he ran into Van Morrison here, and Sammy's never been shy, so he started tugging on Van's coat about got any songs, and God, Van didn't have a song for Sammy, so he ended up cutting this Van Morrison song called Flamingos Fly that was really like sort of the first thing that got Sammy on the radio. It wasn't a big hit or anything, but talk about audacious. But he couldn't do that if Van wasn't hanging out here, right?
Sure.
Yeah, so that is the record plant. And, if you don't get Nina Bombardier here to tell you the stories, you'll never find out what happened.
Joel Selvin, you're a music icon, a Bay Area icon in your own right. So thank you for being here. Where can people find your books and learn more about your stories?
My books are readily available at your local independent bookstore, and they've been having a hard time, so I recommend that you go there and buy your books there rather than off the big website.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Yuzette.
You're welcome.
This is great.
Good
rocked it.
interview. I love it.
Yeah, perfect. Well done,
Thanks,
Mike.
Joel.
JT Loux is joining us. He's an upcoming rocker. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, my pleasure.
Yeah.
What's it feel like to be in such an iconic place?
It's amazing. Like we were talking about earlier, the legacy is just oozing out of the walls, and I'm so excited to be performing here tonight. So, yeah.
Formerly, it was the Record Plant, and now it's called the Record Factory here in Sausalito.
Yeah.
And thank you for being here, though. We can't wait to hear you perform. A lot of people have been coming up to me going, hey, JT's here.
Yeah.
So let's just go to asking you, where did you come from? How do I know you? Who produces you?
Yeah, a little guy out of Sacramento called Frank Hannon. He's in a band called Tesla. Some people know it, but no, they were one of the biggest bands out of Sacramento ever. And such an honor to work with that guy. You know, I grew up idolizing him, and I had posters of him on my wall growing up as a 12-year-old kid, and they were signed to JT. So, you know, and then to be able to work with him when I turned 18, I worked with him with my previous band, and after that kind of fell through. He encouraged me to start singing, so the last year and a half I've been singing my ass off and just working every single day with my new band, and we just had a record come out last month, so we're excited for everyone to hear it, and all the videos and all the production we've been able to do throughout COVID has been amazing. You know, I feel so lucky to to have been able to do so much with the limited resources we had through COVID. So,
How did you get introduced to Frank?
I got introduced to him through a guy named Greg Golden. He's in Reno, Nevada. He owns Bizarre Guitar, and my dad introduced me to Greg when I was about 15 years old, and he toured me around his guitar shop, and you know, Frank I'd seen a couple videos of mine on Facebook and everything, and really thought I was a good player. But once we met, he really he liked the way I played, and he liked it, and he liked my old band and everything. And so when I started branching off into my own stuff and started singing my own stuff, he made me realize that I had the tone and I had everything that was required. I just needed to work at it really hard. And so yeah, it's just been a crazy journey so far. So.
In terms of recording last year, how many songs? You had a debut album come out and recently.
Yeah, April 30th of 2021, and we there's 8 songs on there, and you know, we've written over 40 or 50 songs all the way through with my band in the last year, and it's been crazy too, because we just started playing live shows recently, because we started in March of 2020 and there was no shows by April, and so you know, we started playing all of our songs to the wall for the last 15 months, and just got a chance to play in Oklahoma and Dallas a couple
with
weeks
Frank.
ago.
Were you with Frank?
Yeah, with Frank. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
So my band opened up with our original set, and then he joined us, and we played a set of some Tesla songs and some Frank Cannon songs. So we were stoked to be able to do that and play in front of all these people, and it was the most amazing feeling to get back to live shows. I didn't realize how much I missed it until I had it right there in front of me again, and it, you know, it just felt so amazing.
What's it like to be so young and sort of being thrown into this whole rock and roll scene?
Well, for me, I've always loved rock and roll, and I've always looked up to like bands like the Beatles and Led Zeppelin and everything. And ever since I was 11 years old, this is what I wanted to do. I've never really thought of myself doing anything else, so it's the only thing I'm envisioning myself doing. So it's not too crazy. I mean, a lot more work than a lot of people think. You know, working every single day, 6-7 days a week. You know, 8-hour practices. You know, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like work at all, because we're having so much fun, and I'm with my 2 favorite best friends in the world right now making music. So I couldn't ask for anything better.
One of the things we aspire to do at BAMmagazine.com is try to encourage a new generation of, you know, folks to join us with BAMmagazine.com and just enjoy music and love it. Is there anything you can say to your generation or anyone trying to come up?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely never stop playing, and I know that you're gonna hit a lot of roadblocks. I've done a lot of that in the last couple of years. But you're always going to find a way to find some success as long as you keep going and you never stop, and be consistent. And you know, for a lot of the guitar players out there, I would say start singing if you don't already, you know, because it was the best gift that Frank ever gave to me, was giving me the ability and confidence to sing. I had it, I just didn't know I had it, and so that would be my biggest advice, is just to step outside your comfort zone and never give up.
If people want to hear your music, see your videos, they want to hire you, where can they go?
Yeah, so you can visit our website, jtlux.com. We're also on Instagram at jtlux. That's JTLOUX, on Facebook as well. So everything on our website is available now, with merchandise and CDs and everything. So, and you'll be able to see where we're playing next. And yeah, so thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here. I can't wait to see you perform a little bit later on tonight.
Thank you so much, Izette.
You're welcome. We're here today talking to Frankie, Chief Marketing Officer of the Record Factory. Gosh, this is an incredible day for you and your team, right?
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. Like Tony Bennett once said, it was a 30-year trip to be an overnight success or something like that. So this was a 5-year trip to be an overnight success, but we're not quite there yet.
When did your team first realize that you wanted to take over this property?
Well, there was this kind of goes back a little bit, and I was working with a producer by the name of Peter Wolf, and he did stuff with Starship and Heart here, but I was working with him in Los Angeles. So he started talking to me about we built this city. I was doing a lot of sync licensing for that, and he says, we did over at the Record Plant. I'm like, yeah. So we were at the Record Plant in Los Angeles. I go, which room did you record? He goes, no, not here. This was in Sausalito. I go, what? I go, this is amazing. I live in Los Gatos. I go, I became infatuated with it, especially when I saw a for sale sign on it. And fast forward to a few years later, Ken Calais actually reached out to my daughter because he wanted to help develop her. And sitting in his office, he said, I recorded Rumors at the Record Plant. I said, no shit. Can I say that? Okay. So, and I said, yeah, that's great. Well, let's do something about it. He goes, well, let's buy it. He says. I go, okay. Well, I've raised money. I was in the film finance business before, doing major motion pictures on what's called, P&A and film distribution. So, okay, well, this is a new one. I'll give it a shot. And so we actually tried one time in 2017 and we failed. Tried another time in 2018 and we failed. And then in 2020, we gave it one last shot. My wife said, this is it. You don't do it, you're done, because, otherwise I got to find a good attorney, family attorney at that. So basically I said, well, let's give it a shot. And failure wasn't an option. Assembled a new group of folks, who a lot of them are here. And we did it. March of 2020, we were able to assemble it, got a bank to believe in the vision, and we bought this place.
What was the problem?
Well, there aren't a lot of banks in the I want to finance recording studio business these days. So that's been the biggest problem. So part of it's just trying to flip the paradigm over a little bit and try to look at it not just as a studio, but how do you monetize a studio such as this historical place, and what we had to really do is plug in kind of an experiential side to it, and that's just the virtual side, doing tours, doing maybe merchandise and other things to kind of make it more of a symbiotic relationship, and it's almost kind of like they don't mesh, they don't really work that well together, especially when you talk. I call them purists and the experientialists. I split the group into that. Ken Calais is a purist. He believes the studio should be, meant only for studio work. No one should ever set foot in this holy ground, so to speak. So, but he came around. He started to see that there was a lot of ways to monetize, the recording industry other than just, the model's been broken for a while. So the labels have turned out to be the 1% at the very top, and everyone else has to scramble for the scraps. So.
Tell us what kind of programs that you, Ken, and your whole group are going to be doing here.
Well, we want to make this is Studio A. We want to turn this back into a working studio. This would be more of a streaming, perhaps digital studio, because we do have the trusses back here, so they'll be streaming live from the factory. As they did back in the day. Kenny Wardell could probably attest to that. We want to bring that back, but with the streaming aspect, because there are a lot of what we call OTTs and the SVODs, all the Netflix and the Amazons that are really hungry for content. And the area I came from, and I have salespeople in LA going, yeah, why don't we do something with that and bring money to artists that would otherwise be stuck in trying to sell streams on Spotify only, or Apple Music or Tidal. So we've brought that into the equation. So that's one aspect. A lot of kids. We're partnering with Little Kids Rock, which is on the East Coast. So Carlos Santana's involved, Bonnie Raitt, on and on, all kinds of people. They put instruments into kids' hands. We want to plug that into Ken Kelly's program, which is the Artist Max program, and kind of nurture that. But then, of course, you still need the money, the capital to kind of feed that. And so we're going to bring in a sponsorship aspect to that will plug in, that will kind of facilitate that. So where the A&R no longer really takes place anymore for the labels, we're going to try to, kind of flip the model around and have other people help us with that side of it. And we're going to have, the kids that rise to the top. We're going to make them, we're going to get publishing deals for them. We're going to have our own label. We're going to help, nurture and foster that whole side of the equation.
If people want to find out more information, where can they go?
Oh, right now we've got a website that is just starting to come to fruition, and it's is recordfactory.com. You'll get a lot of information there. You can always reach me at Frank at f22marketing.com. And I'll probably not give my phone number away because my wife wants to eliminate my phone from my life right now. So
I believe it. Frank, thank you so much for being here. We're very excited. Special reception today with the sort of rebranding of the Record Factory and just so much history here. So we're thrilled to be here.
Thank you for coming. I really enjoyed having you all here. And Kenny and you guys have been a great partner. So thank you.
Our pleasure. BandMagazine.com makes perfect partners with the Record Factory, and Ken Kelly and the whole group. Tell us who's next to you. You have a special guest.
So she happens to live in my house. This is my daughter, Jules.
Hi.
What's your performance name?
She is Jules. Yeah.
Cute. Jules, Jules.
Yes, Jules.
BandMagazine.com, what we're trying to do is bring in a new generation of young people, and that's why I think we make perfect partners. And I know you went through sort of the program that they have here with the Record Factory and Ken Kelly. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what it encompasses?
Yes, definitely. So I was I'm an alumni of Artist Max, made by Ken Kelly and some of his songwriting friends. And yeah, no, it was a great program to go through. I have so many friends still today that I talk to who are songwriters, producers, and it was a great tool to learn more about songwriting, performing, and just overall get to find a community of people who do what I do.
And what do your friends say? I mean, you're kind of becoming famous now.
It's weird, but it's definitely it's really cool to see my friends who have supported me over the years, and my dad who has supported me throughout the years. So it's crazy. Yeah, it's a crazy ride. Up to.
It's got to be pretty incredible to be here in studios where, Rumors, Fleetwood Mac album was recorded, and so many other people have recorded here. It's got to be kind of a cool feeling.
Yeah, totally. There is so much about the energy and for lack of better words, vibe that creatives get, I feel like, when they walk into a place like this with history, where there's like walls in the bathroom that have these crazy sketches on the walls. It's like the energy just overcomes you.
Upcoming artist, she is Jules. How can people hear your music?
So you can find me on Spotify, Apple Music, or whatever streaming website that you use. At She Is Jules, spelled Jules.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure.
The record plant, Sausalito, California, now the Record Factory.
Corey sent, and I'm not sure where it came from, a list of all the alumni that recorded here over those years. A huge list.
Mm-hmm.
Really impressive list of really great bands and artists.
You couldn't get any bigger than that, and you're obviously on the lists with Pablo Cruz.
Yeah.
What kind of memories do you have looking back and being in Studio A?
You know, a lot of great creative times. We wrote "Love Will Find a Way" right there. I mean, right in that room.
Wow.
Corey and I were working on it. I had the front part. He said, "Oh, I'm going to go to the other piano in the other studio," and he was gone for a few minutes. Came back. Said, "What about this?" Dun 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 dun, and we married the two things together and started writing lyrics. And man, Mike Porcaro was here from the Toto band. He played bass on that.
Mm-hmm.
And oh yeah, we spent so many thousands of dollars in this freaking building. I mean, just, you know, you don't rehearse in a studio. You rehearse at home. You write at home, and then you come to the studio, knock it out, and leave. We didn't know that. It's like, okay, let's hang out at the record plant.
The Bay Area is so special to music and people coming here everywhere. Why is it so different here in the Bay Area?
Well, I don't know. There's such a well of, always has been a well of talent and inspiration in this area. And I think especially, well, I can't say especially in North Bay because it's all over the place. I mean, you know, Oakland's got its own sound. San Francisco's got its own sound. South Bay, same thing. But I don't know, there was something that's really special about North Bay and the bands that came out of here.
Yeah. You told me a few months back a story about the first time you guys heard your song on the radio. Can you tell us that?
Well, I remember after we had done our first record, I was walking down Bridgeway with a friend of mine, and
which is where we are right now, Bridgeway.
We are on Bridgeway, that's right. And it was at the other end, at the south end of Sausalito, and I heard this song. I said, "Wait a minute, that's us." And we stopped, and these guys were fishing right there. And they had a little boom blaster thing, boom box, and a song called "What Does It Take" was on. I don't know. K-San might have been playing it. Tom Donahue might have. I don't know who was playing it, but it was like, oh my God, we're on the radio. We've arrived. It was a pretty neat moment.
Yeah, for sure. Do you see yourselves coming back here and recording?
I wouldn't say no. You never know. You know?
Well, you did a song during COVID that was
Breathe, yeah.
Great, uplifting, and I enjoyed it very much.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun putting it together. We did it. Everyone did their parts from their own studios in their own houses. I was in Nashville when I did my part. My wife, Jamie Kyle, engineers. She's a total nerd.
I thought you were going to say she's a dynamo.
She is a dynamo. But she's got this nerdy side of her that's all computers and gear, and I mean, we have some of the weirdest conversations that I know not too many husband wives have those conversations about compressors and about, you know, tone variations, you know, just weird stuff that has to do with recording. She's way into it.
BamMagazine.com, we are trying to encourage the younger generation, younger folks to, you know, embrace their music, embrace their voices and all their talent. Is there anything that you can offer to the younger folks coming up?
Learn your instrument well. Don't rely on push button recording. Learn how to play, learn how to sing, and take it seriously. If you think you want to do it, then make it your absolute priority, and you know, don't let anybody deter you. Just, you know, stay focused and work on your craft.
Dave Jenkins, Pablo Cruz, thank you for being here this evening.
My pleasure.
Taking the long road to find what isn't already found. Shouldn't he tell you that swallowing pills won't fix you up? Maybe it's better to not have to think of your last breath. You the beast. Whoa. Death and destruction